Professor Akiondebumi. I don't know whether it's a question or a comment, but I really want him to expatiate on an aspect of his methodology. I am an advocate of triangulation theory, data, and all that. When he said he has used 9 theories, I want him to, because of the session I will be anchoring after now, I want him to give us some insights into how he's able to combine the 9 theories without the entire work being unwieldy for him to handle. You can see that he was able to handle everything well. How did you combine the 9 theories? Are there categorizations, the main, and all of those? I just wanted to throw some light on that so that body researchers will be able to navigate that area.
Okay. Professor Babatunde wants to know about our Ibadan ideology. We do theories a lot.
Prof, sir, you know, this is it's a pragmatic conference focused on the pragmatics of existence. So we're not just looking at linguistic pragmatics. We're looking at the pragmatics of life itself. Now, your presentation, I consider it to be a seminal work, a work that has huge contributions to make if it could go to the proper authorities, the proper circles. But unfortunately, academic work is seen as academic, not pragmatic. So I would like to know, do you have any way of ensuring that this does not die here, it doesn't fall by the wayside and can be practicalized and applied to make a contribution to the Nigerian society?
We'll let Prof react to these questions now. Professor.
Okay, so thank you very much. The first question, yes. You know, let me do that. I also had trouble retaining social development. I had trouble retaining it when I was doing the classification. You know, ultimately, why I had to was because when you're talking about social development, you're talking about collectivism, you're talking about the existence of people in the society and the ability to live together and then rely on each other's support for everybody to grow together. And that would be social. And so that's to say that if someone dies, the support some other people are taking from him is gone. And so the social development will be affected. And so you are not allowed to die because there is warning from the culture so that you can live and benefit your society. But you know, I agree with you that it's about context. And that's why as a pragmatician, I'm not a discourse analyst ordinarily who will pick my words from without context. So it means that the same I use could be used by someone else to achieve a different categorization. But in my own case, that's what I mean. And so when I develop the paper fully, I'll provide more context for it. I hope it's clear. Then, the last question is a very deep question. Now, I have 9 theories, 9 of them, 1, 2, 3, up to 9. But you know, I have to retain all of them for many reasons. One, I'm talking about pragmatics, culture, and development. I cannot assume that I'm able to understand the data that relate to development using pragmatic theories. I have to use the theory of development to explain development in my data. When it comes to culture, I cannot rely on the pragmatic theory to handle culture. I need theories of culture. And when it's pragmatic, I have to take theories of pragmatics. So I was constrained. I came to 9, but I did not all the aspects of all the theories. What I did was to select only the relevant aspects of the theories. For example, when it came to common ground, I was only talking about sharedness, shared cognition. What do you share with someone that enables you to understand him and enables him to understand you? That's all I dealt with. And that's reflected in my analysis, but I cannot explain that now. But luckily, the editor of our journal has said I must develop this paper. So expect this in the next issue of our journal. I never wanted to develop it, but he said I should, so I'm going to, then you see the details. Then the cultural theories would have to also be used selectively. Relevant aspects are combined with relevant aspects of development theory. What I've not done is to develop a model where I'm going to bring all of these different parts together, then relate them to the objectives of my study. Because all the theories must have a place in the objectives of the study. And it is, I was able to do that I was able to do an analysis. Otherwise, the analysis will not be smooth. I hope I've some sense there. Then the last question about not allowing this to stay as a work in the academia. Initially it was meant to be an academic exercise, but later I know that it has to be translational, such that it goes from the academic to the society to the application. That's what we call interventionist pragmatics. And so I will confess to you that this is one of the basis for my new theory that I called cognition pragmatics. It was initially my 2006 work that set the motion for that gave me the background to my newest theory in 2021. I was working with contextual beliefs, and people use that theory a lot. Then I worked on the heart in Yoruba, the heart, and then I used cognitive theory. Then I came to realize that I could work on cognition. Then I work on cognition. This one in particular gave me the insight into developing what I call cognition pragmatics, where you are talking about two languages, giving you two cognitions, which means that if you are speaking English and you are speaking Yoruba, whether you are speaking Yoruba or English, the Yoruba is in your head and the English is in your head. So the two of them will conflict and the meanings you achieve will be different. And so you have to account for how one influences the other pragmatically. And so when you say it's not on seat, you are not just saying that someone is not available in the office. You are saying something that comes from your culture. This is one influence, and that is now being developed into a theory to be used. In addition to that, I'm going to ensure that it's translational, such that you can ask about how we can apply this to development. And so there may be workshops for politicians to know that our culture is a problem for politics. It is because the culture is deficient that politicians have issues. The culture says embezzle. That's what the culture says. And so if the culture says you should embezzle because others must benefit from your wealth, and you go ahead and do that, it's the culture that recommends it. So there's a problem with the culture. And so there must be cultural reorientation based on the analysis that I've tried to do. But I'll try to make this clearer when I'm writing the paper. But it cannot end there because it has to go on into some other stages. So thank you very much. I hope that's clear. All right.
Once again, a round of applause for Professor Akin-Odebomi. I am happy that I was able to apply his mutual contextual belief theory before we are moving to the next one. If you are excited about cognition pragmatics, a round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are following you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we are going to be launching the first script in honor of one of our most distinguished fathers in the Pragmatics Association of Nigeria, our own Professor Shola Timothy Babatunde. And to speak, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first script in his honor. But before we come to the launch proper, I'd like to invite the Vice Chancellor of the African, Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji, to come say something about the book Applied Language Studies in the Nigerian society. A first script for Shola Timothy Babatunde, Vice Chancellor, African School of Economics, Professor Mahfouz Adedimeji.
Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I was admitted to the University of Ilorin in 1993-1994 academic session. The person who taught me applied linguistics is Professor S.T. Babatunde. And the first chapter on applied linguistics that I read is the one called Applied Linguistics, a Basic Introduction. It was published in 1999 by the Department of English. That chapter was written by the lead editor of this book, Professor Joel Ayodabo. When you are talking of an academic buffet, you are going to find it here. The book is in honor of Professor S.T. Babatunde, who taught me applied linguistics. And the lead editor of this book, the editors include, I won't mention one person among them. The editors include Professor Akinodebumi, who just made a presentation before us now, the president of the Pragmatics Association of Africa. The editors also include Professor Joel Ayotunde Ayodabo. Remember, I told you that a chapter in the applied linguistics is the first that I read. And then you have Associate Professor Lutomi Adioti among the four editors. You see, I don't think it would be fair to any one of us to leave this session, to leave this program without having a copy. It is an academic buffet, an a la carte. You just pick what you like. And if you like, the way some of us do, we just want to pick a chapter on cultural linguistics, we want to read a chapter on social linguistics, we want to read a chapter on identity, on pragmatics. There's hardly any topic that you have in the broad field of applied linguistics that you won't find represented here. I can assure you that you are going to enjoy it. It is going to enrich you. Let me just read an extract of what the professor of law, the senior advocate of Nigeria, who happens to be the vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, Professor Wahab Bedbewoli SAN, says about the book. Applied Language Studies in the Nigerian Society. A first for Shola Timothy Babatunde is a testament to Professor Babatunde's distinction as a scholar. And I'm certain that this book, which straddles language, linguistics, literature, and applied linguistics disciplines, will be beneficial to scholars, researchers, and students. As you read through this book, you will encounter riveting discussions on literary text, on ideology, identity, adverts, posters, comedy, variation and varieties, translation, high life, cartoons, and more, all dissected to reflect the dynamic nature of our society. We'll explore the concepts and applications of pragmatics, stylistics, critical discourse analysis, psycholinguistics, metaphors, and others that show that there is more to the language we use than we often appreciate. I can aver, that is a professor of law, that this book, Applied Language Studies in the Nigerian Society, is not merely an academic drudgery. It is a tribute to the beauty and dynamism of applied linguistic scholarship. It celebrates the diverse ways in which we mean through the instrument of language. It is my hope that readers will find the book intellectually stimulating, with future researchers deriving inspirations on topics that require additional reflections using other linguistic theories and models. They say the taste of what is in the eating, the taste of the audience.
This is the book, and here we are today. Please, be fair to yourself. Be fair to your institution. Don't leave this place without having a copy. I must also express the honor that my university is honored to publish this particular book. So thank you very much, and I wish you a very successful day.
A round of applause.